Welcome to Built to Finish. I'm your host, Stephen Pivnik. Join me each week as we explore the journeys of audacious goal setters. This includes experienced founders, CEOs, and entrepreneurs sharing pivotal moments that propel their success. We'll also be talking with endurance athletes who push the limits of physical and mental ability. This show is brought to you by Ecce, offering tailored, high-impact advisory services to help founders get to their finish line with a strategic acquisition or majority investor recapitalization. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of the Built to Finish podcast. Today's guest is a global entrepreneur and digital leader with a uniquely diverse background, combining deep expertise in financial technology with over 2 decades of success in web development and digital consultancy. After 15 years working around the world, from New Zealand and Hong Kong to London and New York, he made the leap into something which is near and dear to my heart, tech entrepreneurship. Drawing on that global insight, he founded a web development consultancy that now has been thriving for 26 years. His firm has partnered with major organizations to build custom platforms and e-commerce solutions that are as technically robust as they are beautifully designed. He is the founder and managing director at Ecce. Brant McNaughton, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. That was a very glamorous and very sort of impressive introduction. I didn't know who you'd talk about there for a minute.
It's definitely you. You've done a lot. So talk to me a little bit about the transition that you made from your, financial background that you had into tech entrepreneurship. How did that go?
I guess, I've been working in financial markets for about 15 years and the market was changing, the environment was changing, the whole sort of atmosphere was changing. It's becoming more tech-led. I think there's a lot of compliance coming in. And it's a bit of, you look at the movies about living in the city or working in the city and how high pressure and toxic and all that sort of stuff. And it was sort of, I got to a point where I needed to change. And I enjoyed it. Traveled around the world, on someone else's ticket, which is always nice, but so decided, it was in the sort of late 90s that I was playing with tech and got really interested in what was happening in terms of the internet and all that sort of stuff. So I taught myself to code. Had some background in building macros and stuff for our financial data that was coming in from the feeds, and just basically didn't renew my contract one day and said, "Look, I'm off, guys. I'm off to I've become rich and internet famous." Which, neither's happened, but off we went.
And what year was this?
I started the business in 99, but I finally built up enough courage to sort of not have an employer in 2001, I think. But Ecce was my side hustle at the time, before side hustles were a thing, right?
Right. So you basically waited for the .com collapse to be over and had jumped in then.
I don't think it was probably as well thought through as that. I probably better luck than judgment, I think.
No, but I think you timed it well because, turn of the century was really when, e-commerce started booming and there was, some great technologies available at the time to finally allow companies to do business over the web.
Definitely. I think, e-commerce was very exciting. We built our first e-commerce website in 2002, and it just showed what we do on the internet. Everything was hand coded. There was no sort of Shopify's, no platforms. So I was building everything by hand, but it was really interesting, really exciting what we could do, sitting in the spare room, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the geek in me needs to know. So what technology did you focus on at that time?
Classic ASP database was running on. Initially it was an Access database, hot shock horror, and then moved over to SQL. But yeah, classic ASP is what I built it on.
Gotcha.
And built it out from there. I think we transitioned to PHP Laravel sort of 2008, 2010 or something.
Okay. I'll stay away from the geek talk so that we
Good. Yeah, I
don't
mean,
have.
that's I'm done now, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah, exactly. I don't want the listeners and viewers to tune out because you and I are geeking out. So we'll get back to more interesting topics from right away. So as your business evolved, like what were some of the things that you did after you started to basically to for business development and to bring on customers?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. I think I didn't realize I was starting an agency. I just wanted to build websites. So I didn't know what I was actually building. I had never an agency background. So I was doing things a different way around, I guess. And I think initially the first projects were for people I knew or people introduced me to people. Um, and yeah, there was no sort of set plan about lead gen or where the opportunities would come from. I guess it was just locally we became, people could find us on Google. I mean, we got a knock on the door from some guy who needed someone to look after his email because the guy had disappeared and he'd given up hosting emails or something. But that introduction led to an introduction to a bigger opportunity and a larger client. People like, so there was no sort of, and if I do a retro on how we came across our clients, there was no set path or no set sort of, this is how we build the pipeline. I mean, every client came to us through another way or, so yeah, I mean, I can't give you a definitive, this is how you build the pipeline because it's, everything's different really.
No, I mean you just proved the point that especially in the services world, reputation and relationships are everything.
Definitely.
So, and word of mouth referrals is the easiest way to get new business. It's a little bit hard to rely upon, but it's definitely a great way to get business.
Yeah, it's a challenge, right? I mean, I would say 99% of the business comes through my network, which, ideally to hang my hat on that, it's not really ideal, but I mean, we've got a good reputation. We've got, people know what we can do. People trust what we mean. We're basically embedded in a lot of people's businesses, so they need to be able to trust us. And, once they can see what we do, then, um, the projects get bigger or they'll introduce us to someone else. And I mean, it's reputation's everything, it's like, you run a decent pub, it's your name across the door, right? So that's what you're looking after.
So it sounds like a lot of your revenue is project based, but at the same time, you sounds like you have recurring revenue because you do ongoing maintenance for the projects that you complete. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's right. That's true. So we have people on retainers. So we also host and support people around the world. So we have clients in New Zealand all the way to clients in Canada and pretty much everywhere in between. So we moved away from, well, I think we hosted our first website on a silver box under the corner of my desk back in the day. But now we're using AWS. And so we host everything that we build. So we've got control of it. So it's not really a recurring revenue, but I mean, it wipes its face. We pick clients on retainer. We offer support services. I'd like to say 24/7, but we've got to sleep sometime.
Sure.
Yeah, the majority, you're right. We are project based. So all our work comes in, and we'll either work on an hourly rate or a day rate or on a project basis. But yeah, recurring revenues is the retainers and the support services we offer our clients.
Got it. Got it. So how often do you come across an opportunity when you do custom application development? There's almost always some sort of uniqueness to the project, which it can't be filled with an off-the-shelf product. How do you stay away from the urge to turn some of these unique bespoke solutions into a product and get into the software business?
Oh, I mean, I'd love to do that all day long, to be honest. I mean, the easiest thing would be make one thing once and sell it 1,000 times. But I mean, we're in the nature of our business is that we're sort of custom or bespoke software development consultancy. So everything's unique to a client. I think way back when I built an appointment management system for a dentist, and I thought, right, well, I'm going to sell this to the world. Well, I sold it to one dentist. So yeah, I mean, I'd love that opportunity, but I think there's got to be a definitive. We build stuff. We're not a marketing company, so we can't go out and market our wares very well. And I think we'll build something. We're really proud of it. We'll get excited that another project will come along, and we won't see the demand for that. We're working on a couple of projects at the moment, which are quite interesting. That came about from our hack days, and we'll see where that goes. That may be a software as a service or something. But at the moment, yeah, we build these things. They're great ideas. We kick it around and we go, yeah, we can sell this, and then the next project comes along. So unfortunately, it never worked out that way.
Nope, I get it. Been there, done that, and know exactly what that's like. You just brought back a really interesting memory. I remember going to the dentist. I think I was in my early 20s, and he was complaining about how complicated it was, to schedule patients and to, figure out which room they're going to be in and all of this, basically just the business management side of dentistry. I said, well, I have an idea. Let me go write something for you. And if you like it, you buy it from me. So I spent the next 2 weeks, writing a dentist office management system in my spare time. And it wasn't that complicated, nor was it, super sophisticated. But I showed it to him and he's like, wow, this is great. And then he ended up buying something off the shelf instead. So I'm like,
Yeah. So I mean, that's sort of. I mean, I went to that's how exactly the same sort of story. I went to the local dentist. Well, I flew home to New Zealand because I cracked a tooth somewhere, and the guys at home said, "You've got to go see this dentist when you get back to the UK." Met him. He was a Kiwi. We sort of sat down. He was complaining that people aren't turning up their appointments. We need to be able to remind people to. So I went, well, I can send text messages to people for you if you want. And so I built this whole diary management system so that people were adding it in and setting up and that sort of thing. It was a great idea, and we were gonna make millions together. And anyway, so he was the only customer for our appointment system. But yeah, again, there was a problem that needed to be solved, and I was there at the time to solve it. And that's a lot of the opportunities come along that people have challenges that try and make. We're a problem solving business rather than just, I think we're more reactive than proactive. I think that's why we've never built a piece of software and sold it 1,000 times.
nope, I totally get it. I totally get it. So obviously, AI is changing a lot of things in a lot of different industries. How do you and your team use it, if at all, currently, but both to develop solutions and then within the actual, customer solutions that you deliver?
Well, I mean, we have a hack day once a month. We call it 5% Friday. We stole that holeless bolus from Google when they had the 20% whatever, but 5% Friday, that's one day out of 20. And each month we have a different theme. And the last probably 6 or 7 months has all been AI focused. Initially just seeing what we could do. So, I mean, I'm obsessed with Midjourney. I'm obsessed with these sort of things. I mean, it just sort of, also vibe coding and stuff like that. I mean, that's sort of on that side of things is good to play with. But in terms of our business side of things, we're looking at being able to sort of interrogate data rather than just sort of get sort of some sentiment out of it and stuff like that, rather than just what's in the data, what the data means.
Okay.
So we've incorporated that. And so these are some of the projects that I mentioned earlier that we're sort of looking at how we can use sort of for example, traditional filters to get to where we need to get to. And it doesn't go any further, then we'll drop in a bit of AI if it needs to get there, sort of thing. So, I mean, we are embracing it. I mean, we're still building, hard coding stuff. The guys use AI to sort of rubber duck some of their projects.
I'm sorry, I've never heard that term. Rubber duck project?
You're testing it. So you've got someone that, you've got a crash test dummy that you put in the car, right?
Okay, got it. Rubber ducking. I learned a new term. Thank you.
Someone to bounce ideas off and stuff like that. So, they use that, so collectively they'll sit down and we'll throw things at the AI. and we've used it for all sorts of things and sorting data. But I mean, again, I think we are being reactive in terms of solving someone's problem with AI rather than building an AI thing and then finding a problem to solve. So that's always would been the way. So we've identified a couple of things that we can stretch our muscles and turn something around. So watch the space.
So, with AI and programming specifically, I've heard a lot of talk recently, from executives, specifically Eric Schmidt. For some reason, like he's really vocal on this topic about AI replacing the need for entry level developers and programmers, because now a senior level person, instead of relying on a junior level person, can just have AI write code for them. Are you seeing that as well?
I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, there's vibe coding. People can no code stuff. I mean, I built the other day, I just wanted to know what horrific things are on my Spotify playlist. And so I vibe coded something and wanted to know what genres I'm listening to. And so, yeah, you can throw some ideas at something like ChatGPT or Emergence or something like that, and it'll code something up. But I think, when it comes to specifics and the problems we're solving, we're getting involved in ERP systems and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm sure Mr. Schmidt's right. I mean, he knows a lot more than I.
Well, at that scale, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the solution is. I mean, I don't want to see guys out of work. I mean, it's like you don't want to see artists out of work. You don't want to see all the creative industries under pressures is anyway. And so having AI come along, I think there's always gonna be space for junior developers, and it's a good skill to have. The vibe code is great, and you'll see it all over social media. But I think my niece just graduated from university, and she did a computer engineering course, and I think it teaches her a lot of things about problem solving, not necessarily code, but how to look at a situation and how to solve it rather than just asking. I mean, yeah, it's like getting in a car and driving somewhere. Everyone uses a sat nav now, but I mean, you know, it's changing the way our brain works because things are just being spoon fed to us. I think it's important to maintain some sort of cognitive conscience.
I totally agree. I mean, on the car technology front, I was super happy that one of my daughters' first car didn't have a camera in it nor sensors. So she actually learned how to park the real way by sensing where you are in proximity to the next car, and she learned how to park versus in today's day and age, anybody new to driving has got alerts going off left, right, and center, and they really don't know where they are because the car tells them where they are.
Yeah, I mean, how can I learn to drive when the car doesn't have a reversing camera? I mean, what? That's what the mirror for.
Exactly. Exactly. So I love this concept of 5% Fridays. It sounds like that definitely contributes to your culture. What other specific things would you advise other entrepreneurs to do to maintain a great culture?
I mean, culture I think culture generally, because we're a very, very small firm. And there's 10 of us. And I think culture generally is an extension of the founder. So, I guess, yeah, I'm a bit laid back. I'm from New Zealand. We do things a little bit differently down there. We like a barbecue. We like a beer. So, when we're all in the office, we used to have 5% Friday. We used to have beers and a barbecue on a Friday and stuff like that. Giving the team a chance to decompress and sort of like step outside the office and see what's going on. Chatting to each other rather than just chatting in a screen. It's become harder and harder now that we're all either working fully remote or hybrid to maintain that sort of culture. We we have a stand up every morning, and we're running Slack channels and people talking whatever they're talking to each other about. But we still maintain a get together once every 6 months. So the team's scattered all over the UK, but we get down and last month they all came down and we decided that we'd go for a run together. I mean, And I mean, I think this plays into your sporting endeavors quite nicely, is that we encourage everyone to get out because I mean, they spend most of their time over a keyboard. So AFK was this is the idea away from keyboard, and we
Uh-huh.
got out and we went for a run, and that's the way we started our day. And I think
Nice.
try to keep everyone fit and healthy. I think it's not. I don't think it's healthy that they just sit and they're looking at a screen all day. So as often as that, in terms of culture, we sort of give praise where praise is due. When we're all together, I'm currently in our studio, which if it isn't used anymore, there's a big desk and there's room for 10 people all sit around it. We're very sort of, there's no real sort of hierarchy. I mean, I don't have my own office. I sit here with the guys. I think that harks back to my days when I worked in the city where we all sat around a big desk. And I think part of working is the banter that plays across the desk and all that sort of stuff. So we're not in cubicles, we're not in separate rooms. I think, it can become sort of problematic when you're on a phone call and someone's talking about the latest football scores. Not that I'm
Sure.
interested in, but yeah. So I think, open and transparency is also good, but I guess getting together as often as you can, and just having a bit of a laugh. And I think there's a book, and I think I mentioned it in most of my appearances on any podcasts, is a book that's all about the All Blacks, and the All Blacks being the best rugby team in the world. I'd just like everyone to remind that, although we lost to the Argentinians at the weekend. Um, and it's all about sort of, the captain still sweeps out the change room at the end of each. Everyone takes turns at doing the same thing. I take turns making coffee and stuff like that. So I think, rather than an us and them mentality, it's us together.
I believe in that wholeheartedly. Like I say, I was chief executive officer. I was also chief financial officer. I was chief operating officer, but I was also chief of running, network cables, through the drop ceiling at the same time. So, and people saw that no matter, it was in the early days of my company. And even when we were like over 200 employees, I would show up and assemble furniture, when needed. So people definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, I think they do, and people see you being there on the floor, on the shop floor, to so to speak, mucking in with everyone. There's no them and us mentality, which I think is important. I think because, I mean, we're all doing the same thing, hopefully.
Hey everyone, just a quick break from the show to review the top 3 things that I talk to many founders about that are looking to maximize the valuation during an exit. 1, are your books in order? 2, is there enough growth left in the business for the acquirer? And number 3, what is your sizzle? What is that special sauce that's going to take many years for a competitor to recreate? If you have those 3, you're definitely going to be maximizing your valuation upon exit. Now back to the show. Yeah, exactly. So you briefly mentioned running. So let's jump over into some interesting endurance things, which I know you do as well. Um, I heard you did something called Shark Fest from Alcatraz. Did I get that right? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, that's what it was built. It was built as Shark Fest. It was about 5 or 6 years ago. I mean, I was into my, um, was it wild swimming or outdoor swimming, or whatever it's called, wherever you are from.
Open water swimming.
Open water swimming, that's it. Open water swimming. And there was an opportunity to swim from Alcatraz to the city, and it was called Shark Fest. And so I signed up and flew over to San Francisco. And there'd been a storm the night beforehand.
Oh boy.
And so the swells were quite bad. And there was about 800 people there. And I thought, it'd be like herding cats, right?
Wow. I love to say that people think I'm crazy, but I like to remind people that there's no shortage of crazies out there that like
Oh,
these types of events.
definitely. So we did the swim in the marina, and I was a bit disappointed. And so there's a company called Pacific Swim. And I was flying back Monday afternoon, and I managed to get a lift on a boat at 5 o'clock in the morning with 3 mad women from Cincinnati. Sort of, I don't know, it was women with middle-aged women and cold water swimming, but they were in their wetsuits and I was in my jammers. I mean, I don't swim in a wetsuit. So the swells were still there, and they threw us over the side, and I managed to do my swim from Alcatraz to San Francisco, which I was very proud of. But yeah, these three ladies were great company for the trip. But yeah, it was good. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's just, I think doing anything like that, and looking at your credentials as well and what you've done sporting wise, I think it shows some sort of grit, some sort of determination, some sort of self belief to sort of throw yourself over the side of a boat in 100-meter water or whatever, and the swells are going up like this and stuff like that. It just to bear down and get the job done. I mean, I sort of, no one has to see you do it.
You're definitely preaching to the choir.
Yes.
So that swim, remind me, because I did it as well. I did it as part of a triathlon called Escape from Alcatraz. I think that swim is just over a mile, about a mile and a half. Is that right?
I think we swam significantly more because they threw us over the side of the boat. And this is the tailwind of the storm that had stopped the swim the day
Oh, so
before.
now you got the current to contend with.
Yeah. So they said, right, swim that way. So we swam that way, and they picked us up about 5 minutes later and said, right, well, you've traveled laterally about 100 meters, and you traveled that way 100 meters and laterally about half a mile. So they picked us up and dropped us over that way anyway. Right, and a swim, you basically at the Golden Gate, and you'll come around. So I think I probably did about 3 miles in the end.
That's interesting because when I swam it, the current was going the other way. So I missed the swim exit by about 200, 300 yards.
Okay.
And nobody told us to course correct. They were just out there letting us do our thing. So I end up coming out of the water, and I realized I have to run an extra 300 yards to get to the bike transition, which is already half a mile up the hill. So it was just I mean, I really love the experience. To your point earlier, I proved to myself that I can do something incredibly hard, which I translated into some business initiative, the following quarter. But oh my God, was it a miserable day?
Well, you can sleep off the night later, but yeah, I mean, this is the thing about working and having a job and stuff is doing hard things is actually and working is very fulfilling, really, doing stuff tough. I mean, so I think someone once described it as type 2 fun, right? So when you're doing it, you think this is miserable, but when you look back and you go, actually, that was quite fun. I quite enjoyed that. So it's type 2 fun, right? It's not fun at the time. You're getting there, you're doing a job, you're getting it done. But when you look back, you go, I really enjoyed that. I'm going to go swim somewhere else.
Yep. I mean, every single race that I do during the race itself, I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself? This hurts. This sucks. I can't believe you're actually willingly doing this to yourself. But then as soon as I cross that finish line, I'm like, oh my God, that was such an incredible experience. I can't wait to do it again. And within a week, I'm signed up for something new.
Exactly. That's part of, that's part of the joy doing these sorts of things.
Absolutely. So is this something that you continue to do? Is this a hobby of yours, long distance swimming?
No, I mean, I've done a couple of swims. I mean, there's an island off the coast of the south coast here they're called the Isle of Wight. And it's about 2 miles across the water. I did that a few years ago, but no, I've sort of, had troubles with my shoulder and stuff. So I'm now a runner. So I've done a couple of half marathons and stuff like that, but no, I think I'm getting too old. I go for a run 4 days a week, but and we've got a new puppy, so I get plenty of exercise. So I'm not complaining.
Never too old. It never ceases to amaze me to see the older age groupers come across the finish line at an Ironman. I mean, it's so inspirational to come back to a race, to witness the people that are finishing in 15, 16, even 17 hours. And hey, they're 50, 60, sometimes 70 years old, and they're still crossing that finish line.
Yeah. I mean, I did a triathlon, and I had to borrow a bike for this particular triathlon, and I'm sort of biking up this hill, and this woman, a bike with a basket on the front, cycles past me, and I'm going, what? I mean, this older woman, I thought, what the hell's driving the button?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
epic.
I think the older you are, the more grit you have, I think.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's no shortage of storage space on a bike like that, so she can carry as much water as she needs to for the race.
It was just funny that because it was like an old lady's shopping bike that she cycled past, and I've borrowed this racing bike. Anyway,
Yep. So back to business for a second. So with a small team like that, obviously everybody plays a very instrumental role. I know a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, deal with, key team members quitting. Have you had that in recent years, and how did you deal with it?
I think, the business had been going about for 4 years, I think. And I took on my first employee, this young guy called Carl, and he was straight from college, and he was great. I took him on. One of the reasons, I got a lot of CVs through. One of the reasons is that he hadn't had a day off sick from college the entire time he's been there. Right, so he shows dedication. So, and again, he didn't take a day off. He was here, and we sort of started building these e-commerce websites. All right, these projects together, and they're becoming more complex, and he became more and more of a central role, the business. So he ended up staying with me for 17 years and brought on new developers and trained them up. And uh, we got we got some processes in place and set the rhythm and the way we do things. And then, but he was one of these guys. I mean, he used to sit right opposite me,
Hmm.
but he was one of these guys that was always in the screen. You couldn't have a conversation with him because he's in the screen. But he was a great bloke. I didn't really. I mean, 17 years, I never really heard much about him. Wow. Not through lack of try, but he was just one of these guys that. Anyway, he came to me upset, and said, "I've got this opportunity to go somewhere else. I'm really, really sorry." And I mean, I didn't try and sort of win him over or anything like that, or offer him more money. I mean, I think it was time for him to move on, and so it'd be time for me. But I mean, I sort of catastrophized it and thought, well, if this guy leaves, we're screwed, and all this sort of stuff. And it wasn't the case. He's sorely missed, and he was always instrumental in the growth of the business. But I think we just sort of, again, things change, and we bring other people on, and there's fresh injection, and there's fresh blood in the business, and new ideas and stuff like that. So I think, everyone apart from the boss, obviously, is replaceable.
Yeah, even the boss is replaceable because I fired well, I shouldn't say fired. I promoted myself to executive chairman, and I brought on a CEO. So I re- I replaced the boss.
I mean, sometimes I wake up in the morning and wish I could fire myself, but
No, but you bring up a really good point because a lot of business owners do um, catastrophize the event because when the key member quits, I mean, I remember going through it on multiple occasions. Like, oh my God, how are we ever going to get back to work with this person not here? And every single time, whether it was voluntary or involuntary departure, we figured it out and we were better off for it. So.
yeah, I think the rest of the team step up, and people see an opportunity to sort of move over and stuff like that. I think, as I said, we're quite a close knit team, so everyone sort of we share the knowledge, and they work on projects together and stuff like that. But I think, yeah, you're right. You can't try and hold on to someone that doesn't want to stay. So I think it's easier to let them go, and you work it through. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's just one door closes, door. I mean, what is it? What I don't know what the saying is. One door opens, another closes, and one door closes, another open. I mean, something like that.
Yeah, that one. One door closes, another one opens.
Something like that. So yeah, I mean, I think it's good, and it's fresh. But he needed to change, and I think,
So, in your 26 years of history, I'm sure there was a ton, as in most services businesses, there's I like to call it feast or famine from a business perspective. You're either completely overworked and you don't know how you're going to get these projects done to a point where like you don't know when your next project is coming. What was like one of the worst episodes that you of famine that you went through, and how did you get through it?
yeah, I guess that's a good question. I mean, it's like, it's always been like that. When we've gone through several recessions, global financial crisis, all this sort of stuff from so much has happened over um, the last 26 years or whatever. Yeah, I think we're going through probably one of the toughest periods now for whatever reason. I think it's just a case of, we run very lean, so we're not extravagant with what we're spending, I think. But how we cope with it, well, we develop new ideas, new projects and stuff like that. We do a lot of, we're dealing with a lot of technical debt at the moment. That's been part that, it'll be right, it'll be right, it'll be right, it'll be right. Well, now's a good opportunity to look at that. So the guys are all sort of still actively engaged. I think these 5% Fridays are a good chance for them to sort of, do something a little bit different. And we know we spun out a couple of projects from these 5% Fridays. It's a good opportunity, but I think, I, it's like flying a plane. I think, you've just got to focus what's happening in the cockpit and not worry about what's going on around you, because, what's going on around you will kill you if you don't look after what's, so you've got to steer the ship, I think. And I think we focus on that and make sure that we're delivering what we've promised our clients, and bringing them new ideas and new solutions and stuff like that. So I think a lot of the work we're doing now is for existing clients that, trust us implicitly. And so I think, it's not like that we're cannibalizing our own customer base, but we're sort of doing more work for them. But yeah, new business, this is probably one of the leaner times for new business. We've got lots of opportunities and lots of sort of proposals and stuff out there, but I think I don't know what people are waiting for before they make these decisions.
I mean, everybody's got a different reason, right?
Yeah, there's always an excuse not to do something. Like love, really. There's always an excuse not to do something, but I think, yeah, it's just a case of knuckle down and secure the ship, and we'll be right. I mean, something always comes along, and I think we need to be a little bit more proactive rather than reactive. But we're software developers, and we like sitting in dark rooms and looking at screens.
That's so funny. The best joke I heard on that front was, what's the difference between an introverted developer and an extroverted developer? An extroverted developer looks at your shoes when he's talking to you.
That's probably fair. That's probably, yeah. I mean, they're lovely people, but I mean, they're sort of, they're built differently.
No, they are. 100% true. Built very, very differently. And when you were describing your first employee that was with you for 17 years, it brought back so many memories of folks that I've had, work for me for years, that it's very similar to you. I just didn't have a really good relationship with, because they weren't relationship type people. They were, get in front of the screen and get your work done type of guys or gals.
Yeah, he's very good, but yeah, just sort of, I couldn't read him. It's just kind of.
I totally get it. So listen, thank you very much for being on the show today. I really appreciate the stories that you shared, and the advice that you're given. I'm sure a lot of it is going to be actionable by people that are listening and viewing. What is the best way for folks to get hold of you if they're interested in speaking with you and learning more?
Well, you can look me up on LinkedIn. I'm Brant McNaughton. You can. My email address. Do you want the email address? Are you going to share the email address, or?
Yeah, sure. We'll put it in the show notes. We have it. But go ahead.
Brant@ecce.uk. Ecce, by the way, is Latin for look. It's the only thing I learned Latin at school for all those years ago. So it means look. So I think, I was too clever than I thought I was. Yeah. And I've got a little sort of. If you go to a1m.at/Brant, that's aim at a1m.at/Brant. It's my little sort of, you can get on my socials and resumes and hear me swear on other podcasts. I'd be very well good today, actually. I normally like a swear word, so I'd be very well behaved.
Sounds good. So I'm assuming that even though you're based in the UK, you guys do work internationally.
Yeah,
is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So we've got clients. The furthest away is a company called Stobycraft, and they manufacture sports fishing boats. Ironically or coincidentally, or they are in my hometown in New Zealand, but that's not how we got the client. That was through a conversation. So they, they've got an ERP system that they needed integrating into other platforms and building a portal and stuff like that. So yeah, we work with them. The time zone works quite well. They're pretty much 12 hours or 13 hours, depending on the time of year at drift. So we'll have catch up in the morning. Generally, if we're doing some stuff that needs to be done ASAP, then we could turn it around overnight, give it back to them. We're clients in Australia, Asia, Europe, obviously, and North America. So yeah, I mean, I don't sleep, so that's okay.
I love it. Sleep is for the weak.
Yeah, sleep is plenty of time to sleep when you're dead.
I used to say that all the time until I read a book called Why We Sleep, and it scared the living daylights out of me
Really?
about how important it is to get sleep. So I only say that in jest. I used to say sleep was for the weak because I slept very little, but now I try to get 7 to 8 hours because I know what happens primarily in the brain when you do sleep, and it's a lot of goodness.
Yeah, I'll try to sleep more. I mean, I think I get about 6 hours sleep per night, so that's okay.
Okay, that's not horrible. It's much better. I mean, I speak with people that get like 3 to 4. I'm like, that's
ridiculous.
you're hurting
Yeah,
yourself
but I think
by doing that.
I think exercise encourages stuff as well. So I get up in the morning and go for a run at about 7:30. Then I'll come back and have my stand up, or I'll take the dog out for a walk or something. So I think exercise promotes that sort of healthy body, healthy mind, so they say.
Totally agreed. Totally agreed. Again, Brent, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate your time today.
No worries, man. And I'll drop you those links and stuff on an email, and yeah, and we'll catch up then. When's your next race?
Actually, it's coming up on September 20th. We just moved to Long Island, and there's a race at Jones Beach. Ironman. It's called Ironman 70.3. So that's a half Ironman.
Okay.
But it's literally right down the road. So it would be really nice to actually wake up in my own bed, do a race, and sleep in my own bed again, same day. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. Well, let us know how you get on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening to another episode of the Built to Finish podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do like and subscribe. It does help the show a lot. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. That's a wrap for this episode of Built to Finish. Thank you for tuning in. For show notes and more details, head over to podcast.stephenpivnik.com. Special thank you to our sponsor, Ecce, offering tailored, high-impact advisory services that help founders get to their finish line with a strategic acquisition or majority investor recapitalization. Catch you next week.